Okay, we got a very, very, very special guest with us here today.
Hey yo!
I want to introduce everybody to Oscar Derkx.
Hey there, thanks so much for having me.
Oscar Derkx,
Backyard Basketball
a
Podcast.
huge fan of the Raptors.
Big fan of the Raptors.
Where'd your Raptors affinity come from?
Well, it's from U2. It was from U2.
Yeah.
I honestly had never really watched sports at all, and then watching U2 just get all stoked about it, and then I really got into it around the LeBronto era, unfortunately. That's what I remember.
That's not a good time to get into following the Raptors.
But I was hooked. I saw the drive and the potential of the team back then, and it was just even feeling the heartbreak of watching all the promise of the season leading up to the playoffs, and then LeBron just stomping all over the dreams and hopes. I enjoyed that ride.
It's like that Indiana Jones movie where he sticks his hand and rips out his heart. You know,
That was more like the boulder coming at him. There's nothing you can do to stop.
It's inevitable.
it knocked DeMar DeRozan out the way.
So DeMar DeRozan's out of the way. Kawhi Leonard's now out of the way.
Yep.
They have a ring, and they've got a very young team with a very fresh new face in Scotty Barnes. They're on a 6-game winning streak right now.
Yeah.
What's your take on the Raptors?
They look way better than they were supposed to. I don't think they were supposed to be this good.
It's quite surprising.
It's supposed to be development year.
Yeah.
And they're very clutch. That's the thing that surprised me most, is how clutch they've been over this winning streak. Everybody has been. OG's been huge. Barnes, those free throws to go into the first overtime with the Bulls was it's the composure for a rookie to step up in that moment and just
He doesn't look like a rookie.
He doesn't at all.
Can you imagine him in 5 years? He's gonna be a giant.
Yeah.
He'll be a behemoth of a player.
He's got a frame like Giannis.
That's the thing.
You know, it's kind of like sub Giannis. So
Sub Giannis. Well, maybe that's great. There was a lot of talk that the Raptors were going to be in on Giannis, and now maybe we don't even need that.
Just got it in house.
So is Fred Van Vleet just nominated to the? Is that what it's called? Nominated, selected
Yeah.
to the All-Star game as a starter.
as
As a reserve.
Yeah, he's a
as
reserve.
Yeah.
Should have been a starter.
Should
Well,
have been a
maybe.
starter.
I don't know. This is the tough thing. It's we all believe he should be there.
Yeah.
Is the Raptors winning way the validation though that he should be there?
Yes. When you agree,
Yeah, totally.
right? That
Yeah.
I think the thing I always remember about Fred Van Vleet when he was on Wichita State, and I can't remember the coach's name, but that coach and Nick Nurse, I think they originally come from the same place. They know each other really well, so they've worked together in the past. So I think Nick Nurse is always in his back pocket. I don't know if there would have been any, part of that in maybe their decision to bring Van Vleet in the first place, because him coming in drafted. But he was it's the leadership that Van Vleet brought to Wichita State that was a huge part that brought their success. And you can't help but see that effect happen. Mm-hmm.
I underestimated him hugely.
Yeah.
I thought this year was going to be a disaster with him as playmaker.
Really?
The
I
guy.
thought it was going to be a disaster.
Just because of him, or because of the pieces around him and the fact that they just lost Lowry?
I just didn't think that he had the vision. Lowry's such an incredible creator.
Yeah.
And so many of the Fred Van Vleet possessions that I remember seeing is just him just fucking dribbling it out.
Right.
Just beating the air out of the ball, and I was like, oh no, that's our guy? That's our floor general now? But that has not been what we haven't seen that at all.
Which is another testament to how far in advance, how much Masai Ujiri understands the potential of his players. This is an undrafted player who has stepped in. He's now a selection to the All-Star game, and he's he's not doing what you're suggesting, which was just dribbling out balls, which now he has the opportunity, and he's draining threes from the logo night in and night out, taking this team, which is they're sitting in a playoff position right now, midway through the season. They're going to like really meaningful games. I think like probably the last 10 games have ended in either an overtime or within 10 points. It's remarkable.
Against good teams.
And winning.
Yeah.
And winning. That's the crazy thing. We were talking about watching Lowry with the Heat the other night. Not against the Raptors, but he was playing the other night. And it's like, yeah, you really miss the guy. As a Raptors fan, you really miss Kyle Lowry. It's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. But when they signed Van Vleet to that 4-year extension, it was the writing was already on the wall for him to move on, and everything that Van Vleet does now, you see everything that Lowry had an impact on with the way that he's playing right now, and it's great because they're young. They're a young team that have been through a lot already, won a championship, so understand what winning feels like. It's amazing.
I got a question for you guys. Do you think Siakam's off the table now in terms of trading him from the team?
Definitely. He's incredible.
He's incredible. I mean, it's great that his asset value has gone back up because you want that to maintain. Even if they decide that they need to move him, you don't want to ever have to be forced to move somebody or feel like there's desperation to move somebody. Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
He's not playing now, so his whole asset value has dropped. I mean, not to a place where you're just picking up peanuts, but to a place where he's not going to play right now, and they're not going to move him. I don't think Siakam will get moved. I don't think so. I think that if they were on the other side, though, of the playoff position that they're in right now, and without the momentum that they have right now, it probably would have happened this week. I think Siakam would have been traded if they were
before the deadline date.
If they were in a seller's position, absolutely he would be the first.
Siakam is just the epitome of what is right with the Raptors right now. Like, I think that vision of like the long
really
yes, he is Masai Ujiri's vision of the future of the Raptors is Siakam. And that's
Tell us why.
Well, it's what's been working in these games. You have these long, incredibly athletic players that just like they outlast the opponents. The number of minutes they're playing, and at the end of all these games, the deciding factor to me has been like Raptors just have more push. They just have they're not as worn down as the other team.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the other team just gets harassed for and you hear that in like so many interviews after the game. Oh, they're so long, they're so fast, they're just like, and like some of the defense that Siakam's been doing, like that double block on Butler. Do you see that?
Yeah, I catch the highlight of that.
And like his D has been so clutch. Like that's I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he is the model of what the Raptors want to have right now.
It's definitely the identity that they have created, which is this defensive juggernaut.
Yeah.
You cannot put. I mean, everybody's 6'9" or taller. Everybody can sprint the court. Like the transition is incredible, but the defense is what's really, really special, and it's what Nick Nurse is. He's been a huge part of, and that's why they kept him around after Dwayne Casey left. Was that he was really responsible for making this defense work and this defense click, right? Who's been the biggest surprise to you?
I think Scotty. It's got to be Scotty.
You think so?
Yeah, none of us would have guessed that Scotty would be like casually putting up like 20-point games.
We were talking about Jalen Suggs.
Oh,
yeah.
Please
Can
don't
you
bring that
fucking
up
imagine?
Yeah.
Can I swear? Is that all right?
You did.
Oh yeah, you just did. So
you just edit that out.
No, it's all good, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, it's surprisingly, it's like his defense is more what I'm worried about watching him now.
Scotty.
Yeah, his offense is pretty good for a rookie. Like, he looks so confident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Scotty, and then after that for me it'd be like Gary Trent.
That's who I was thinking first. I think the amount of 30+ point
Five
that he's been going
5 in a row.
It's insane. And you think about the trade that actually happened with so it's like a 1-for-1 with Norman Powell. I don't think there were any picks involved. And where's Norman Powell now? Well, not helping the Portland Trail Blazers. They lost that deal. It's another Masai Ujiri fleece.
Oh yeah.
Norman Powell's a good player. He was, and he did help Portland down the stretch there. They had other issues that that created the demise of what they even are today, which is so hard to say. At the beginning of the season, I had no idea that Portland would be where they are today. But Gary Trent Jr. is a very special player, and if he had started the season off like he did, he would be an all-star consideration right now.
Yeah. Well, same with Siakam, I think.
Yeah.
Siakam was playing the way he is now.
Well, that's another aspect is COVID was a huge thing that went through the team. Lots of injuries also have impacted the team. What's a piece right now you guys think would improve the team? Maybe not necessarily a specific player, but what are they missing?
A big
shooting off the bench.
Yeah.
But you elaborate more. Like you think they.
Well, I think certain matchup the Raptors just don't stand a chance. That's the big weakness. If you're playing against the Philadelphia 76ers, how the hell do you stop Joel Embiid? I don't think you have a single player on that Raptors team.
Well, you wear him down with Scotty Barnes, and you wear him down with some of your. Yeah,
against an MVP type season of the most ungodly. The guy, it's okay, if he wants to go into the paint, I'll just shoot threes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think you need, and it's something they've talked about forever. I've heard everything from maybe reuniting Jonas Valanciunas out of New Orleans, Miles Turner. One that I actually thought off the top of my head, which would be a great opportunity if the Raptors could do it at the trade deadline, if they want to buy instead of sell. So we've got the Dragic piece, right, which is something that we can move around.
That'll be moved.
Clint Capella out of the Atlanta Hawks. His usage, I was looking at this recently, his minutes have gone down consistently over the course of the season. They haven't been playing him as much. I think he could be a really good fit.
That's because John Collins is there?
Well, John Collins is there, and you got DeAndre Hunter coming back into the mix. They've also got a lot of length on that Atlanta Hawks team.
So he's a bit, I think, of a available asset that Atlanta could give up, and they're really looking, I think, that team to shake things up here by the deadline. So I think Clint Capella could be a really good pick. That's somebody that if it's Van Vleet or whatnot, you can do a lot of pick and roll action. He's really good at lobbing in dunks. Plays well on the defensive end. He's still fast. Got that, versatility. Anyways, that's just my perspective. I think, having a strong center, then you match up better against some of those teams in the East that I feel like, even if you get into that playoff contention and want to be frisky, depending on the team that you get, it could be over before you even start. What's your thought?
Well, I just think you bring up an interesting point, which is it's almost a bit of a dilemma that the Raptors are doing as well as they are.
Totally. Yeah.
This is supposed to just be development time.
Yeah.
And that's what I was fully ready for. And I was oh, we're pretty good. So what are the moves? Do you just invest in what you have now and try to make a playoff run?
I think so. You have to trust it, and you have to tell your guys that you're going to help them. You have to try to help your team. If you're in a position where you're not going to make the playoffs, helping your team is selling your players, getting picks, getting assets. Raps were in a really great position last year because they jumped in the lottery. We were in 8th spot, and we jumped to 3rd, 4th. That is huge. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of unfortunate only in the sense that it would be great to be able to add another piece because the Raptors, unlike most of the teams in the NBA except for the OKC Thunder, actually have draft picks. And I think we have a first in the next 5-6 years. I don't think we're missing in terms of those assets, which means that we could use those. We've talked about Pascal sticking around. Most likely, it would be very bizarre to see that move happen. We talked about Goran Dragic being moved. Who else do you think is available? What else? What pieces can be moved to improve the team? Or do you just run with what you've got because it's working?
So I was just looking right now. They're 13th in offensive rating and 15th in defensive rating. So they're right in the middle of the pack amongst the league. Which again is kind of a precarious situation, but if you're a young team, this is. I think if I was any young team right now, and I'm trying to look at like my greatest pathway to success, I would look towards the Memphis Grizzlies and what they're doing. Knowing, okay, I don't maybe have John Morant on my team, you know, but like the most like fan, you know, boying of player that I have right now this season. I love that guy. He's just incredible. But to see, I think you saw this with the Suns too, this cohesion of like chemistry and success that's just kind of clicked. And if I was the Raptors, I'm looking what kind of moves can I make that maybe can tweak. I probably don't want to do too much changing right now before the deadline and maybe just see how this plays out. But I'm looking definitely for future success. Dragic is something I have to move. You know, I've always kind of wondered like about Precious Achiuwa. If he is maybe long-term going to be a well fit, it's great to see a player like Gary Trent Jr. flourishing in this environment. And then that's something, okay, if this is a key part of my future, how does that mean moving forward? Does OG Anunoby be an expense at some point? Because if Scotty Barnes continues to succeed and he's getting more shot attempts, and I was hearing this recently too, then OG Anunoby, which had maybe more usage on ball, is getting lesser and lesser minutes. How does he feel about that? You know, is this like a little nugget that you can trade off to get something that's, again, going to be, you know, more suitable to what direction you're going into? But what is that clear identity? I'm not sure really. Like, have you guys seen anything that you think this is where we should be going, maybe what we should be targeting that, you know?
No, like, in terms of, like, your question about, like, who to trade, it kind of hurts to say it, but, like, I feel like Boucher still.
Why does that hurt?
Because he's playing so well right now.
Yeah, he is, which is great, because that tells, that helps the team.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess, I'm saying, yeah, I see how it can hurt, but it does help the team.
It does help the team. It totally helps the team. But it's just like, yeah, just the way Boucher is playing, you're like, you want to go on like a little playoff run with him. Like, you want him coming off the bench and
guarding Giannis? No, I don't. I don't. I want him shooting threes and making them. First half of the season, that was not happening. And it made it very easy to go, yeah, that's the guy to move. But you can't move a guy like that if he's not playing well. So, it's nice to see that happening, and it's great because the Raps are benefiting with W's. But yeah, Boucher, I think basically the whole bench is available to some extent. Because those are kind of moving pieces. When you look at the Miami Heat game, we played triple overtime. That's practically 2 games.
Yeah.
And 6 guys played the whole game. Maybe a 7th played a couple minutes in the 3rd or 4th, but six guys. That's tighter than a playoff role. Like, so.
But that's really saying something.
Exactly. You really believe in the guys that you have going, and
Those
you're gonna run them hot, and they can do it.
Yeah.
They won that triple overtime game.
That means something.
Well, it's great. It's great. But you need depth, especially if you want a playoff run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those starters goes down, and you're a very different team. You're not a threat anymore.
Yeah. And maybe they do. Maybe they say, well, let's just run this out, see how far we can go with what we've got this playoff run. Hold on to a lot of these assets. Boucher's playing well, so let's try to ride that out.
And then play in the off season this upcoming summer and see what kind of
additions that you can make happen, and see where you land in the draft. I mean, any first round pick is going to be valuable. Remember, Norman Powell was a 2nd round pick. He was one of our best players. That first playoff series that we had with the North and with Brooklyn, he was a real big piece of
that success.
I mean, they didn't win that series, but they really showed the world that, what was to come. A bit of what was to come.
I think if you're Masai, I think you just keep doing what you've been doing, which is
fleecing other teams,
humiliating other managers,
and with Drake on the
fuck Brooklyn,
Yeah, and just move Boucher and get like a young, maybe someone who has like some good shooting potential.
Well, Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero.
That's the only person they keep trying to get.
Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich could be a great ass. Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah.
We definitely lost. I mean, Matt Thomas wasn't a Bogdanovich type of player, but that kind of 3-point, knowing that guy's just going to spot up for 3 points, we don't have that on the bench anymore. I mean, Luke sort of, but I don't even know what's happening with him.
I think he's gone. I
great.
think Nick Nurse ate him. It's just disappeared. That's why I don't even see him on the bench anymore.
You're not going to make it, I'm sorry.
Strange.
Come into this room, I'll play some piano for you.
Yeah, it's harsh. Like, Nick Nurse, he runs a harsh, like, it's, but he wants to win.
Professionals.
He wants to win. And,
Yeah.
like, that is, like, that winning culture. That's the only way to build it, is, like, getting those guys, like, getting that taste of victory and building that in. You do whatever it takes. You go, everybody is going 50 minutes because you're going to fucking win this.
Yeah. I see, I wonder if the, some sort of veteran rental could benefit a playoff run. Not just for somebody to slide into a starting roster position, but for somebody to be on the bench to really kind of support that, knowing that these guys are playing the minutes they are, coming off the bench, and being able to like give them a bit of rest would be beneficial. I don't think I know exactly who I would even. I mean, Miles Turner has always been a player that I think would be a valuable. A big who you can rely on his defense, you can rely on shooting, exterior shooting. But what to give up, I don't think Boucher is enough. I think Dragic will be used to some aspect as a salary compensation to ensure that whatever's coming back is evenly distributed. Because that's the thing, Raptors have so much money to spend. There's a bunch. We don't have it locked up really into anybody except for Fred, and I think Pascal's got a decent contract right now, but Barnes is still young. Trent Jr. Well, Trent Jr. just signed, so he's got a bit locked up. But we're not talking supermaxes. We're not talking. So
the future's bright, and it's just like it's come a lot quicker than we thought. Gary Trent developed into this incredible shooter. Fred Van Vleet has become the leader of the Raptors way quicker than I think we could have expected.
Yeah.
Scotty looks like he does not look anything like a rookie.
yeah.
OG's just been solid. Like, OG's just been doing what OG does, which is just.
Do you think there's more to go for
indispensable.
OG? This is something I was curious. Do you think he's reached his full potential yet?
I think he has. Like, I think we're expecting more out of him than what he can do.
I'm expecting more out of him for sure.
You want more?
Well, the hype was pretty big, especially coming off the last couple seasons. Because he was really starting to fill in to his starting to get it. He was starting to really, that defense was really clicking. He was hitting clutch shots.
I feel like with the team that Toronto has now, there's just no space in terms of minutes for him to have that usage to say maybe get up like 20, 25 shots a game or something like that.
He's not a guy I want to go ISO though.
Totally. But I think he's a guy that, could be like not to make this as like a big discredit, but like a slightly poor man's version of a Jaylen Brown. Just in the sense that I think every now and then I can see in him, he's got these moments, these nights where he could like just surprise you with these huge numbers. Like 30 plus points, 40-point game. Like, could OG Anunoby say, I couldn't see it on the Raptors, but if he was on another team where they needed to depend on him more to be a scorer, could like he pull out of himself like a 50-point game? I would not put it past him.
I think the thing with OG is he like has all the skill and ability to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he has that fire. Like, I don't know if he has that
killer.
aggression, that instinct to just like get in there. Because you're right. Like, there was a few games like when Siakam was out earlier on when OG
They needed him.
and he stepped up.
Big time.
But I don't think he has that on a game after game after game.
Yeah. Which is funny you say that because early in the season I was like, whoa, Siakam ever going to... Have they figured out Siakam's thing? His MO? Have they figured it out? Has the rest of the league figured out how to stop Siakam? Because last year it was not good. And early in the season it was like, your spin move doesn't work anymore, dude. And your speed, you don't have the distributor for this anymore. So is this gonna pan out? And for a long time, like watching him in clutch situations, it was like he was scrambling. It was pressed. It didn't feel comfortable, I guess. So to be able to see him get back to that form, I'd love to be able to see OG step to just another level of intensity maybe a playoff run will do that. I mean, that would be great to see just how far they could go. Do you think they even stand a chance against some of what's to come in the playoffs?
If it's Philly, they're going to be swept. If they face Philly, they're going to be swept. If they face Brooklyn...
But they won't. Brooklyn's going to finish 7th or 8th.
They very well could, yeah. Yeah, who knows? If something happens, which we'll get to in another pod, I think, no, Brooklyn could potentially become the scariest team in the East. But, yeah. Before we go, though, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up and ask you, Oscar. I was saying this earlier before we got on. So, trade deadline's this Thursday. You know, there's been a lot of talks. We've heard Ben Simmons, of course, and James Harden's come up in the news recently. You know, we were talking about the Raptors looking at different players. Is there, like, I don't know, if you were a betting man, you had to say, like, you believe or think by the trade deadline this player is going to be on this team? What
on the Raptors or on any team?
On any team. On any team. And the same goes for you, Bray.
Well, Harden to the Raptors? Because I don't think that's happening.
No. It's got to be like, you know, you have to.
1 for 1.
Okay, so, you know, I believe it's going to be on this, and this is my reason why to believe that this will happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go first. So mine, I'll say this right now. I think, this is going to be bold. I think that Ben Simmons will be on the Brooklyn Nets, and James Harden will be... Ben Simmons and Seth Curry will be on the Brooklyn Nets, and James Harden will be on the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't want to talk about the Philly and Harden on 76ers. The only reason I want to talk about this is because I think Ben Simmons with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets, that will be the team to beat. And they're going to... If they have enough time to figure it out, nobody's beating that team.
This year or next year?
Well, maybe, but I don't think they have enough time to figure out this season by next season. I just don't... Thinking about Ben Simmons and Kyrie in the pick and roll... I'm just telling you, I think Ben Simmons is going to be on Brooklyn because Brooklyn secretly realizes that this is way better than having James Harden. And Steve Nash is going to take his spirit and put it inside Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons, with his frame, is going to reinvent himself like Steve Nash and is going to be the most lethal thing to ever invoke on the NBA said done period. Okay, you guys go.
Do you want this to happen?
I don't know. Our buddy brought over a couple beers, and I'm a little tipsy, so I'm probably clipping right now. But anyways.
I don't think Harden will move by the deadline.
I digress. What would my big? We'll save our guest the best for last.
What would my big trade move be?
Yeah, what would your trade move be?
I think it would be one of either CJ McCollum or Damian Lillard.
Oh, and where are they going? Just pick one and tell us where they're going.
Well, let's go with CJ. And shoot, where's he gonna go? That's hard, man. I have a feeling that Sacramento's gonna make a move, but I don't see CJ going there. Where does CJ go? Where does CJ go, Oscar?
I don't know. It's not my guy.
Not my guy. CJ McCollum. It's just... Oh.
How about CJ comes to Boston for Marcus Smart?
You know, that could be a big swing for Brad Stevens, but I don't think that Portland's interested.
Sabonis for Marcus Smart? Come on.
Well, I did hear some rumblings around Sabonis to the Wizards, which would be a very crazy thing to have happen.
Yeah.
Did you see Karis LeVert got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers?
What?
That's a big move.
That's huge.
I'm just progressing.
Yeah, you just... Okay, let's get to it. CJ McCollum, by the end of Thursday day, will be on this team.
The New York Knicks.
I love it. Yeah, I can see that.
And
It's great.
And Cam Reddish is a part of that trade.
Yeah, dude, because Thibodeau's like, fuck this guy.
He's played 3 games since getting traded there 15 games ago.
Thibodeau apparently said somebody, he's like, I didn't want the trade. I didn't want Reddish on our team. So there you go.
That's brutal.
How about Reddish come to Toronto, then RJ Barrett's going to want to come to Toronto, and then we get him.
There we go.
Because Toronto,
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I don't know who we would get. I don't know who the Raptors would get, but I think Boucher moves.
Yeah.
I think that's a move that's going to happen, and I think there's going to be some with Dragic. How do you say his name again?
Dragic, I think.
Dragic.
Big dick. Sitting at Miami Heat games.
I know, what a
while he's
son of a
supposed to be
gun.
playing
I know.
for the Toronto Raptors.
He's moving somewhere.
What a turd.
There'll be some sort of crafty salary scheme that happens, and I think we go for some bench depth. I think we get a really good six man.
Do we send him east or do we send him west? Those players.
I think Boucher is going to go somewhere in the east just because it's so tight. There's a lot of people that could use just one extra little piece, and Boucher would be a really interesting piece, I think, for a lot of teams.
Yep.
And Dragic probably go out west.
Maybe forever I keep hearing that.
Wait, so who is yours? It's not Harden.
No, it's Ben Simmons on Brooklyn. That's mine. So
By this season.
Mine's Ben Simmons on Brooklyn by the trade deadline. Yours
By the trade deadline?
Yeah.
That's 2 days from now.
Yours, yeah, I know.
That's tomorrow
I know.
when people are listening.
Yours is
McCollum to the Knicks.
To the Knicks, and
Mine's
Boucher
and Dragic for young talent
young talent for
the Raptors.
some depth on the bench.
Some depth's going on. Okay, well, it's going to be fun.
So there you go. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to put any money on the table because I'm not a bet man when I feel like I'm going to lose. But that's what my gut was saying. If Joe Tsai wants to like literally hack into the game of the NBA and like cheat and like break the game of the NBA, he gets Ben Simmons on his team by Thursday. So
I think you should bet $100 that's going to happen.
I'll tell you what.
If you're going to say it with such confidence and pizzazz, and you're going to bring up...
Come on, I'm just trying to add a little judge to the podcast.
Well, the judge is
betting
$100.
I will get us a 6-pack of
$100
some
beer.
nice brewskis we can share in my own.
Okay, so whoever's most wrong gets a nice 6-pack.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, it'll work.
I don't know how we're gonna measure this. I think I've already dug my own grave, but
well, we'll measure it by whether or not the player gets traded, first and foremost, and then we can measure it based on which conference, and then how close you are to the team.
Now, this would be my other caveat, maybe to help give me a bit more credibility. If the trade doesn't happen, but then a news report comes out that the trade did not happen because Seth Curry wasn't a part of the deal. So there's only two ways this can happen. Daryl has to load off Tobias Harris's contract with Ben Simmons, which isn't going to happen in Brooklyn. So then the second thing that has to happen is Brooklyn is going to ask Ben Simmons, but we also need Seth Curry.
Boy.
Durant's played with his brother Steph. He's like, I want Seth. All I need is shooting around me. And so if I get Ben Simmons on my team, I've got Kyrie Irving I can shoot to. Joe Harris hasn't come back yet. If he ever does come back, and you also got Seth Curry, look up.
Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
He has a thing with having his either son or son-in-laws on his team. I don't think Seth Curry's going to move.
Well, you never thought that his son was going to move.
Yeah, well, you always think Austin Rivers is going to get traded.
But he's with his dad. I mean, come on. But by the way, this is a really good pod. Austin Rivers and Ryan Russillo was kind of talking about Austin Rivers. Highly recommend The Ringer. Austin Rivers, Ryan Russillo. I'm just rambling. I think we're done here.
Experience.
Oscar, do you have any last words you want to?
No, I'm just looking forward to that beer, man. That's all. I just cannot wait.
Hey,
and it better be very, very nice.
Oh.
It'll be cold. I promise you it'll be cold.
Oh, come on.
Oscar, before you go, who do you think is going to win it all?
Oh, there you go. That's good.
Oh, we're going to take it this season?
Yeah, who's going to take this season?
The Suns. Come on. Let's go.
They didn't get it last year.
I know, but that's why they're gonna fucking get it this year.
They gotta get it this year.
This is the year.
Chris Paul. I just want him to get a ring.
And MVP?
Yeah.
Who's MVP of the season?
Oh, who's MVP? Scotty Barnes.
Could win Rookie of the Year.
He could be Rookie of the Year, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Chris Boucher. I think Embiid, probably. I think it's between Embiid and
Jokic.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook.
Okay,
No,
all right. Oscar needs to feed his cat.
Thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, we'll have you on again here soon.
Oh yeah. Well, because the Raptors in the playoffs, we'll have to talk about that.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right, thanks, boys. It's great.
Peace.